Hetapu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Harun Nefer. This is Qesankh Keparu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about the most recent eclipse and why it was fake. And I'm going to give you 100% proof of that. But before I do, I want you to hit the like button. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you'd like to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below and click on one of the 4 ebook links. You can download the ebooks right away, and there's no cost. It's free, and you can start reading to begin your spiritual journey. However, if that's not enough, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you, and there's never any obligation. You can bow out at any time. And you'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, videos on the spiritual that will teach you how to meditate, proper breathing exercises for longevity and health, how to put together a magical amulet to bring about good luck, how to communicate with the ancestors, how to do lucid dreaming or astral projection, and so much more. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends to get this revolution started. All right, so Harun Nefer, Namaste, Grand Rising. Shauna, hey, how's it going? Greetings. So we're going to get right into this. When this whole solar eclipse thing happened, I could feel like the energy draining out of my body. And me, because when there's a full moon or eclipse, I really feel it. I'm empathic, so I can feel these things, So it kind of wiped me out. And as I was in bed weak with my 4 wives, I was like, oh man, I got to make a video. And they were like, now? I said, yeah, I got to make a video to tell people why the eclipse was fake. And they're like, you're kidding me. I said, no. You guys wait, I'll be back. So I can't keep the ladies waiting. We're going to do this now. I'll be gone. But no, in all seriousness, you see, the ruling elite, the oligarchy, thinks they can pull the wool over our eyes. They think that we're stupid. And in many cases, a lot of the population is kind of stupid, or they're in a stupor state. And what I mean by a stupor state, meaning that you have been conditioned not to question things. You just take it for granted if the mainstream media sanctions it. We just go along with it. OJ did it. It's in the media. The media believes he did it. So we go with that. We landed on the moon. The mainstream media legitimizes it, as well as NASA. And we go with it. We don't question anything. As long as the masses of the population is in agreement with it, no one questions it. And those who do question it are made to seem as if they're conspiracy theories or kooks or crackpots. Now, let me ask you a question. Is there anything wrong in asking a question? Is there anything wrong with saying, well, I would like proof that these so-called Arabs hijacked a plane, which caused 2 buildings, actually 3 buildings, to collapse? You're a conspiracy theorist. Something's wrong with you. Why? Because I'm asking for some more evidence? And we've seen this play out in jury trials, where one juror who's holding out caves in to the other jurors. But why is it that in this society, if you're going against the grain, is it such an attack on that individual? Now, we can go into the whole social science of this, because they've already studied this. And in many cases, that individual not only has the right to question, but has the right to disagree with the mass consensus. And in many cases, that individual is proven right. And if it wasn't for that individual, wow. Think back to slavery. The masses of white people thought slavery was okay. The major religions, well, let's just say Christianity and Catholicism, thought it was okay, so much so that they went to the Bible to find passages to legitimize slavery. And they used that in their debate against the abolitionists to prove that slavery was okay because the Bible sanctioned it. I want you to think about this. And I want you to think about the sickness of the Jim Crow era, where you had separate water fountains, whites only, coloreds, separate bathrooms. There's something sick in your mind, whereas you believed that you need to have a separate water fountain from another human being. And yet, those sick individuals were never questioned. What they said became the norm. We are superior, you're inferior. Hey, Michael. So when we question things in our society, we have to learn to take a step back and embrace that questioning. Corporate America is racist. Racism still exists in our government and many aspects of society. No. You have a white person who will disagree with you right away. And they are not qualified to speak on racism because they spent their whole lives as a white person under white privilege. Whereas you spent how many years? 30, 40 years as a person of color? So you are the expert on racism. You know it firsthand. But your word is quickly dismissed. When you cry out, we should have reparations, white people are like, no, we don't need reparations. But you gave it to the Jews. You gave it to the Native Americans. So I want you to think about this. So as I'm presenting to you the information here, you have a right to question if the eclipse was fake or not. And it's precisely when the masses of people come together to agree on something that we need those voices to go against the norm, to go against the grain. Because without those voices, we would fall for some big time con games. And we did already. We have. We've fallen for the major religions and how we treat them as the Quran, the Torah, the Bible. We treat those all as if they're history books, and they're nothing but a combination of stories, made up stories. And how imbecilic this is that you question the Christians, and to defend their position, they use the Bible. Well, you can't use the Bible to validate the Bible. That makes no sense. That's how we're in that stupor state. You know what I mean? We can't think logically. So there was a great man named Jordan Maxwell. He was, we can say he's a master teacher. And he talked about the all-seeing eye, the eye of Osiris. Or Osar. And let me see if I can bring the images up so you have a reference point. Well, golly, there's so many. Many of you have seen these before. And Jordan Maxwell, when asked about this, took a position that was very different from what other people were accustomed to. And I found it very interesting what he stated. You know, let me see if I can bring in one that's really a common one. And we also see it on the dollar bill. And in fact, many television stations have used it. I believe one in particular is CBS used to use it as their logo. Yeah, CBS. Let me see if I can bring that up. For a long time, they use it as their logo. Okay. All right, so yeah, here we go. This is a good example there. CBS, the eye, all-seeing eye. Lots of corporations, in fact, used it as their logo. But let me go back to what Jordan Maxwell gave us his interpretation of that Egyptian symbol. When he was asked, what does that mean? He said, this is the occult all-seeing eye, letting you know that you are being watched and that one day this entity, this evil force on the planet will make itself known. And I thought that was deep. I was like, wow, he's right on point with that. Right on point. This entity that is in control of the planet will make itself known one day. And this all-seeing eye is a reminder of that. And in my lectures, and when I would speak, I would talk about how this is to remind you that we lost the war, that we are now under the control of this evil force, and that it exists, is controlling the planet. Many people brush this off and say, oh, poppycock, you're talking conspiracy theory stuff. If you don't question things, then you could be in serious trouble in the future. They asked Jordan Maxwell, what is there hope for humanity? He says there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a train ready to run you over. So maybe he's saying there is no hope. Well, anyway, I digress. Keep in mind that all-seeing eye, because when the eclipse happened, everybody's buying their 3D glasses or special glasses to watch the eclipse, you know, but no one questioned its meaning. So here's a time-lapse image of the eclipse. We can watch that. Now, what you'll understand is that this eclipse is the all-seeing eye. It is the all-seeing eye of Osiris. Osir. There you see the sun's corona, looking like the pupil there. And this is an indication that we are being watched by an entity. But because we don't look at the deeper meaning and implication of this, we miss its importance entirely, and we just appreciate it for its aesthetic value only. I could talk more about its astrological meaning in the zodiac and the procession. But the real importance of this is to understand that this is a symbol for the Illuminati, the Cabal, to let you know that you are being watched, that they are in power. Do you understand? And that this event that you think it's natural, that exists up in the heavens, is just a part of the movement of the planets through the heavens. You're wrong. You're wrong. It plays an important role in the future of our planet and the direction of humanity, where we're going. But because we want to put on our 3D glasses to protect our eyes and just see the event on a surface level, we don't understand what the Illuminati is trying to communicate to us. We do on a subconscious level, and they know we do on a subconscious level. And among the Illuminati's peers, it is a message letting them know that we are still in control of the planet. Capiche? Okay. I want to hold this image here so you can just keep this in mind. There we go. Now, I want to do something. I want to bring on one of my students, Sekar Nefertefera. And I wanted him to participate in this as part of our magical class, and he attends that class, and we really get deep into magic. So I want to welcome him. He's known, we call him Sabai, which means teacher. So Hetepu Sabai.
Hetepu, another lock.
How are you?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Good. Did you enjoy the eclipse?
I did.
All right.
So did the rest of the world.
Yeah. What if I told you that it was a staged event? It wasn't real.
Man, it's a big shocker for sure, because they played upon something that was supposedly natural, which, yeah.
So would you believe it if I just said it? Say, that's fake? Or would you ask for more evidence?
Well, I would definitely always, ask questions, but you presented the evidence and it was evident.
Wait, we got more. We got more evidence. The good stuff is yet to come.
For sure.
I want you to stay with me because I got some more stuff to come.
You got it.
All right. Now, to understand that it's fake, all you need to really do is observe it. It's telling you in the image itself that it's fake. Can you see it?
Yeah, just how precise the image is and how perfect the sphere looks.
Yes, there you go. There you go. That's why you were in magic class, man.
Right, I learned from the best.
Yeah. Oh, do me a favor. Tell everybody if how they can be part of magic class. We have classes every Saturday, and if they're interested, what they need to do.
Yeah, all they have to do is reach out to me via email, and we could do readings. And if the readings are positive, then welcome to the class.
Woo!
Yeah, we'll be glad to have you. We go over a lot of esoteric teachings, and like Shekhem's presentation tonight, we just think and dive deeper into topics.
Mm-hmm. All right. And to contact you, they should email you, correct?
Correct. I'll drop a link to my email in the chat.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Excellent. And if you like Sabai said, if you really want to get deeper into stuff and understand the esoteric meaning behind things and find the deeper meaning in your life, then this class is for you. But you have to be serious. You can't be playing around. This is for serious folks. Okay. Sometimes we've had people in the past come with just playful, light-hearted, not serious and committed, and they don't work out.
Right.
Okay. So you said precise. Excellent. Excellent. Now let me see if I can really the best evidence to prove that this is fake and this is a staged event lies in the birth of the universe, the birth of everything, the Big Bang. That is the actual proof, all that we need to let you know that it was staged. So let me explain. When I was studying in priesthood, one of the things that the high priest would talk about often, and he even wrote this in his books, he says there's no way that life just came together randomly, spontaneously. He said the odds don't favor it. The odds of life on this planet alone is astronomical. Astronomical. He says it would be akin to having the alphabet on index cards, each letter on index cards, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? He said life happening on this planet, in this universe, would be akin to having the alphabet, each letter on index cards, and throwing the index cards up in the air and having them fall down with the words, hello. He said, how many times would you have to throw those cards up for them to fall down in the exact order? Trillions of times. He said, that's what you're talking about, how astronomically impossible, mathematically impossible. So a scientist has come along and he's actually come up with something that's kind of new. And let me see if I can find it, where he tries to tackle that question. Yeah, he tries to. Let me see if I can bring this up. New equation tallies odds of life beginning. Now, I've always known about this. This is nothing new to me. And some of you may be aware of it, but it's called the Drake equation. All right. And the Drake equation tries to give the odds of life in our universe. Right. But the issue here, which kind of bothers me, is that he throws some other stuff in, and some other scientists add to it too, which is, well, not only life, but intelligent life. So let me see where we go here, where you can see his equation. The Drake equation. Here it is. That's the Drake equation. So I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I just want you to understand that scientists have been pondering this question. And they come to let me just read this real quick. The Drake equation, originally penned by astronomer Frank Drake in the 1960s, laid out a series of terms estimating how many intelligent extraterrestrial civilizations likely exist in the Milky Way. Okay, I'm not going to get into all that, but let's see if we can basically get to the heart of the matter, because I don't want to get like it all convoluted with all other intelligent forms of life. I just want to talk about life here on Earth. So the thing is that scientists, now follow me here. Sabai, follow me here, okay? You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Scientists have known that the combination of elements needed to form life is so complex and almost impossible to happen. They know this. This is why science and religion have butted heads.
Right.
You know, because science is firm. Science deals with the numbers here. You know?
Exactly.
Let me just bring this up because I did a quick Google search. What are the odds of life on Earth? And what I got here was only 1 in a million has the right combination of chemicals, temperature, water, days, and nights to support planetary life as we know it.
Wow.
This Earth is in what we call the Goldilocks zone. If we were like 1 or 2 degrees hotter, warmer, closer to the sun, no life would happen. If we were 1 or 2 degrees, lower away from the sun, no life. We're in a perfect spot for life to spring up, which is only 1 in a million
Wow.
has the right combination of chemicals, temperature, water, days, and nights to support planetary life as we know it. Damn.
Wow. That's divine creation right there.
Can I take this even further? Can I take it further? Two?
Two.
All right. To understand this, you see, the individual that came up with the, I forgot his name at the moment, I forgot his name, with the multiverse theory, parallel worlds. You know why that theory came about?
No.
To explain how life began without the presence of God.
Wow.
If there is, you see, they figured that the Big Bang as an event, follow me now, as an event happening was almost impossible to support life in the universe because the arrangement of chemicals and everything could not happen just from a Big Bang. It's too precise an arrangement of chemicals to have life spring up. So what did they do? Scientists came along and they said, okay, we're going to create something called the multiverse. And in the multiverse, right, there are a number of Big Bangs, a lot of Big Bangs, maybe happening one after the other or all simultaneously. And through those infinite number of Big Bangs, now the math supports it that there could be life. Does that make sense? Am I making sense there?
Yeah, two.
Because that one Big Bang was not enough to have life. The odds were against it that all the chemicals will be in the exact arrangement for intelligent life to arise. So their answer, their solution to that will be to have the multiverse theory, that there were an infinite number of Big Bangs. And out of that infinite number of Big Bangs, there was bound to be one Big Bang where the chemicals were just in the right way to support life. Because if the scientists agree to the fact that there's just one Big Bang and life was spawned from that one big bang, you would have to say then that there was an intelligence behind it.
Oh yeah.
The math is it's almost like the odds that you hitting lotto are better than the big bang and life coming from that. You understand? So that's why they concocted the idea of the multiverse, the parallel worlds, because that could explain life happening without God. Because scientists have a problem with God.
Okay.
But we as whole brain thinkers, we integrate, we congregate, we synthesize, we see how things are similar and not how they are separate from one another. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to what we're supposed to be here for today, which is the eclipse, right? So we know that the odds of life coming on Earth is just astronomical. It's just like throwing index cards with individual alphabet on there and it falling down saying hello in that right pattern. It's just, that cannot happen. That's just it's too far out there. All right. So what's next? What's next then? All right. So we know where the parallel worlds came from, where that idea came from, right? We know that. So we have to ask this question, going back to what you were saying, Sabai. Why is the moon precisely overlaid to the sun? Seeing the corona as if we're looking at a pupil or the all-seeing eye of Osiris. How is it that it's perfectly laid out? Do you know, Sabai, what the odds of that are? Do you know what the odds of that are happening?
Astronomical.
Mm-hmm. This article tries to deal with that. And you know what the article says? Does it give us the numbers? No. So why doesn't it give us the numbers? It doesn't give us the numbers because it says this. Let me just get here. Believe it or not. So let me just read the title. Why is the moon exactly the same apparent size from Earth as the sun? Surely this cannot be just coincidence. The odds against such a perfect match are enormous. Let me read that again. The odds against such a perfect match are enormous. So what exactly are the odds? The article goes and says, believe it or not, it actually is just a coincidence.
Wow.
And a happy one at that. The moon and sun have virtually the same size, angular size in our sky because the sun is about 400 times wider than the moon, but it's also about 400 times further away. Are you telling me the magical number is 400 times wider, but also 400 times farther away? How the hell does that math work out like that? This allows us to see spectacular coronal displays and prominences during total solar eclipses. Interesting, this hasn't always been the case. Tidal interactions cause the moon to spiral about 1 inch per year away from the Earth. In the distant past, the moon was close enough to Earth so that it could block the sun's entire disk, then some. Our pre-human ancestors would not have witnessed the beautiful coronal displays that we now enjoy. And about 50 million years from now, the moon will be further enough away so that our descendants will only see angular eclipses. So why do we happen to live in this brief period of Earth's history when the moon just barely blocks the sun? Indeed, the odds against it are enormous. But the universe is large enough place so that highly improbable coincidences can and do occur. Sabai, did you hear that?
Right. Basically, it'd never happen again, is what they're saying.
Well, no, they're saying it's a coincidence.
Right.
They're saying that, oh, it's a big coincidence. But coincidences do happen. That's bull. That is bull. You know how we know it's bull? Stay with me. We're gonna talk about just how bull it is. All right. Let me bring this up, and this will nail it. This will be the coffin, the nail in the coffin, as they say. Here we go. All right, and this article here, this really gives it to you. Let me just. What are the odds of life to randomly form on the Earth? Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, but I am going to go through some of the important points so you can understand. During the last several decades, a number of prestigious scientists have attempted to calculate the mathematical probability of the random chance origin of life. The results of their calculations reveal the enormity of the dilemma faced by materialists. In the 1950s, Harold Bloom estimated the probability of just a single protein arising spontaneously from a pre-mortal soup, equilibrium, and the reversibility of biochemical reactions eventually led Blum to state the spontaneous formation of a polypeptide of the same size of the smallest known proteins seems beyond all probability. The calculation alone presents serious objection to the idea that all living matter and systems are descended from a single proton molecule, which was formed as a chance act. In the 1970s, British astronomer Sir Frederick Hoyle set out to calculate the mathematical probability of the spontaneous origin of life from a premortal soup environment. Premortal soup is when we say throw in a bunch of different chemicals and you have the premortal soup. And those chemicals all together, like a soup, have to arrange themselves in a certain way for life to happen. Applying the laws of chemistry, mathematical probability, and thermodynamics, he calculated the odds of the spontaneous generation of the simplest known free-living life form on Earth, a bacterium. Hoyle and his associates knew that the smallest conceivable free-living life form needed at least 2,000 independent functional proteins in order to accomplish cellular metabolism and reproduction. Starting with the hypothetical premortal soup, he calculated the probability of the spontaneous generation of just the proteins of a single amoeba. He determined that the probability of such an event is 1 chance in 10 to the 40th thousand power. Prior to this project, Hoyle was a believer in the spontaneous generation of life. The project, however, apparently changed his opinion 180 degrees. Mathematicians tell us that if an event has a probability which is less likely than 1 chance in 10 to 50, then the event is mathematically impossible. Such an event, if it were to occur, would be considered a miracle. So life is a miracle. Consider this: to win a state lottery, you have about 1 chance in 10 million, 10 to the 7th. The odds of winning that state lottery every single week of your life from age 18 to age 99 is 1 chance in 4, 6, 10, 29, 120. Therefore, the odds of winning the state lottery every week consecutively for 80 years is more likely than the spontaneous generation of just the proteins of an amoeba. This is the important part. The odds of winning the state lottery every single week of your life from age 18 to 99 to 99 for 80 years, whatever, is more likely than the spontaneous generation of the proteins of an amoeba. Now, again, I got to focus on this. What he is saying here is, and anybody, you can correct me if I'm wrong. What he's saying is, your odds are greater for winning the lottery for 80 years every week than they are for the spontaneous generation of just proteins of an amoeba, not intelligent life, just proteins of an amoeba. So the generation of proteins in an amoeba are astronomical. It can't happen. The odds just are too overwhelming. You have a greater chance of hitting lottery for every week of your life. Do you understand that? I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Right.
In his calculations, Hoyle assumed that the premortal soup consisted only of left-handed amino acids. So he's stacking the deck in its favor. As we noted before, spark and soup type experiments always yield a 50-50 mix of left and right-handed building blocks. Hoyle knew that if the soup consisted of equal proteins of right and left-handed amino acids, the mathematical probability of the origin of pure left-handed proteins would be exactly 0. After completing his research, Hoyle stated that the probability of the spontaneous generation of a single bacteria is about the same as the probability that a tornado sweeping through a junkyard assembles a 747 from the contents therein. So you would have a greater chance of a tornado going through a junkyard and then automatically assembling a working 747 than you would the generation of a single bacteria. That's crazy odds. That's crazy odds. The likelihood of a formation of life from inanimate matter is 1 to a number with 40,000 knots. A knot is 0. After it, it is enough to bury Darwin and the whole theory of evolution. So Darwin was wrong. By the way, Darwin did not author his book, The Origins of Life. Darwin, he's a complete fraud. It was written by another guy, but I don't want to get into it. But Darwin did not author that Origins of Life and Evolution. Okay, there was no primeval soup, neither on the planet nor on any other. And if the beginnings of life were not random, they must therefore have been the product of purposeful intelligence. Woo! Thank God. So this guy who's an atheist now believes in God because he's saying the math favors there be a God. Hoyle calculations may seem impressive, but they don't even begin to approximate the difficulty of the task. He only calculated the probability of the spontaneous generation of the proteins in the cell. He did not calculate the chance formation of the DNA, the RNA, nor the cell wall that holds the contents of the cell together. A more realistic estimate for spontaneous generation has been made by Harold Markowitz at Yale University. I'm not going to go into his math because he gets really deep too. Okay, so why am I going this deep? Okay, let me present this again. If the scientists are telling you that the odds are against a single protein forming out of the premortal soup, then please tell me, how is it that the moon, why is the moon exactly the same apparent size from Earth as the sun? So that we get this perfect overlay. So what you're telling me is the chemicals arranged themselves in such a manner that it defied the odds. Not only that, we're living now in the time where the moon is exactly the same size enough to cover the sun in the solar in an eclipse. Those two things happening on their own defy. It's beyond a miracle. Number one, the first miracle is that we spontaneously developed, intelligent life developed. We know that a single protein, the odds were astronomical against that. Intelligent life, we haven't even covered those odds yet. We're just talking about the amoeba and the proteins, right? Now, we want to talk about intelligent life. Those numbers must be crazy against it. And then we want to talk about the sun and the moon coming together in this glorious visual spectacle. The odds are against that. Put those two together, and the odds of both those things happening within the same universe, it's an impossibility. It's impossible. It would be like me saying this. I walked out in the street. I saw Bigfoot. At the same time, a UFO came down and I met aliens. At the same time, I saw JFK. That's like ridiculous. But the probability of that happening is greater than the probability of us being here. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bad example, but you get the point.
Yeah, absolutely.
One hand, you're saying it's almost impossible for life to have developed, intelligent life to have developed on the Earth. And then it's almost impossible for the moon and the sun to be the same size to have this eclipse. And together, we're saying those two, it would be like me going to every state in the United States and playing lottery and winning in every state. That's improbable. That can't happen. And yet you're asking me that to believe that life spontaneously came about and that the sun and the moon coincidentally are the same size. I'm telling you, and this is what Jordan Maxwell tried to get across. There is an intelligence behind all of this. We're not talking about God here. Get it straight.
Right.
We're talking about an evil presence.
The hidden hand.
Yeah. And all this happening during a year of UFOs and strange things going on. I'm telling you, we have to question things.
Okay.
You see, people ran out there to get their 3D glasses on to watch this event. But no one said it. Hey, as you did, Sabai, why does that perfectly line up? How is that even possible that it perfectly lines up? But we don't question it. Oh, yes, you said it right. Michael, yes. Hugh Everett, you're right. You're right. You got the name. I had a brain fart earlier, but you got it. Theory of quantum mechanics, yes. But, you know, we are, you know where this comes from? The European dominance of the planet. Because the European educational system is predicated upon rote learning.
Right.
Just memorization, where you don't have to question. You just remember the correct answer. That keeps you from thinking.
Oh, yeah.
That keeps you from questioning. And our third eye, which is in the story of Asar and Aset, has yet to be awakened. Because those whose third eye is awakened, the Uchat, or whatever you want to call it, would question this. You saw it, Sabai, and you immediately said it. Why is that so precise? You immediately noticed it. How many people out there will figure this out? Less than 1% probably. Because we're all in a stupor state. We're not taught to question. We're taught just to regurgitate. When I was in corporate America, when they were training me on things, I would be like, well, why are we doing it this way? Oh, he's difficult. I'm not difficult. I just have to know.
Right.
I need context of things.
Yeah, reasoning for sure.
They would get in the university, they would get sick of me because my professors would be like, you stop the class all the time asking questions because you're just throwing things out there. And I bet you the questions I have, many of the other students have similar questions, but they're afraid to ask.
Right.
And the way I see it, since I'm paying tuition, which is your salary, you better answer my damn question.
Right.
This eclipse is staged. It's fake. It's not real, man. I know I'm bursting your bubble. I'm not talking about you, Sabai. I'm just talking to the audience. I know I'm bursting your bubble, but it gets deeper. Because then you have to ask the question, well, who is this intelligence, this evil presence? Oh. And if you're ready and you want to know the answer, attend magic class. Because we're going to get into that.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I went in this really broad circle to get to the answer, but I wanted you to have context on the improbability of this event happening the way it happened. Because mathematically, this can't happen. This precise of an overlay cannot happen. And this article tries to deflect on that by saying, well, back way when it wasn't that way, but it is now. So tell me, why is it now we're seeing this? And I wasn't alive back then, so it didn't matter. Because they can't explain it. This is why they say it's a coincidence. Now, you don't understand this, the implication of this. These are scientists saying the words coincidence. They don't like to say that. So I know this must be difficult for them not to come up with an answer. But we don't question it. Why is that, Sabai? Why are we not questioning?
It's like a sheep mentality.
Yeah.
A herd mentality.
I get on social media, right? And people get so angry when I reveal the truth to them. And I think it comforts them to live in this false reality because they're too afraid.
Right.
I'll give you another example. They're too afraid to question. Hey, what are you doing down there? Huh? What are you doing down there? Come here. This is Jazzy. Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, is that the eclipse? Why is that thing so perfect? See, even the fairy knows. So, man, I'm sorry. I had to get on to do this broadcast. I know it's late, everybody. I know it's late. One more screenshot. Okay, one more screenshot. To tell you, I say to people, look, we never landed on the moon. That never happened. The footage you've seen never happened. We did not land on the moon in that footage. And people will get so angry at me. And I just point out one thing. I said, if you really like look in the picture, it gives you the information you need, you know? They said, well, what do you mean? I said, look at the lander, right? This picture tells you that we landed on the moon. I'm not going to get into the fact that there's no stars in the background. I'll just leave that alone.
Oh, right. Wow.
Okay, I'll leave that alone. But, you know, it landed, and supposedly under it is the well, it should have been a blast crater. Where is the blast crater? Meaning you see this like bucket under, that's where the jet, or whatever you want to call it, would shoot out.
Oh yeah.
For them to land. All right, that's great. That's how it would look, right? So where's the crater? Because it would have made a crater.
Wow.
And dust would have been all over the pods here, all over the landing poles here, whatever you call these things. And dust would have been all over the thing here, where the jets and the what do you call that? I forgot the name of that. They call it, but it would have formed a large crater around this from kicking the moon dust all around.
Right.
This looks like somebody brought out the lander and just plopped it there. And no one thought, hey, you know, we should really create a crater under that, because that's what really would happen when you have that jet stream coming out.
Yeah, it looks like a movie set, to be honest.
Exactly. But no one questions that. They just go, oh, look, we landed on the moon. No, that's not. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, there's no light in the atmosphere at all. It's just pure blackness.
It's a studio, man. And it was a poor one at that too. I saw that footage back in college when I was studying film, and someone showed that to me. And I said, oh, good. Where's the real footage of what's landing on the moon? They go, that's the real footage. I go, no, it's not. That's a movie set. I was serious too. I said, I know what a movie set looks like.
Right.
That's a movie set. It's 9 a.m. Do you know where your children are? All right. I want to thank you, Sabai.
Yeah, it's an honor having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and don't forget to get in contact with Sabai if you want to attend magic class. Also, question, people. You're not meant to just go through this life and just accept everything you're told. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're not using your brains. You're just allowing someone else to do the thinking for you, telling you what to believe and what not to believe. And that's what most of the religions are about. They're about the pimp, pastor, minister doing the thinking for you and telling you what you should believe in and what you shouldn't. In other words, he's telling you that, you know, the Bible is the truth. Everything else is a lie. That's fine for him to say that. But then he has to prove it. He has to prove it. And he doesn't. He just tells you to believe, have faith. That can get you in trouble. Can you imagine going to work and your boss says, you're a half hour late. You clocked in at 9:30. You go, no, I clocked in at 9 a.m. He goes, no. You got any proof that you clocked in at 9 a.m.? And you go into your boss and saying, believe, have faith that I clocked in. You know, I mean, it'd be ridiculous. All right. Thank you, Sabai. I know it's late where you're at too. It's even doubly late, right?
Yeah, midnight. I mean, it's fine. It's an honor being on your show. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
thank you so much, and I'll see you Saturday.
Absolutely.
Take care. All right. Thank all of you for who stayed up with me this late. Shauna, Michael, Thank you so much for being here and going through the information with me. This is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of Ma'ant Tahuti. Ma'ant is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amen Ra.